competing ideas of what is best for the organization. Some of it might be self-driven, some of it might be misunderstanding. So how do you structure, call it a governance process, core team decision process to handle those kind of things?
Yeah, there's a lot wrapped up in that. And the very first place that you start is at that level of executive alignment. If you're not aligned at the top, you're not going to be aligned at the layers below that. It's just not possible. Then that's where you really find the most of that competing interest. But if you say at the very top, I have, to go back to the prior example, our competitive advantage is quality, and our strategic 3 to 5 year outlook is to create the most widgets at the highest level of quality so that we flood the industry with the best possible things that they can do, albeit at a premium price. If that's where you're going to head, then things like warehouse management, where somebody may say, I need to be able to track this, that, and the other, maybe not as important as that quality inspection process within production, as well as the procurement side of your materials. If that's where your focus is as a business and as a strategy, and your executives set it that way, then everything else starts to kind of be built up to support that strategy. Whereas if you don't have it from the top, it's easy to, particularly for folks in finance who control all the money and are going to be able to tell you, well, this software isn't really going to pay off as much of a return, and they'll find numbers to do it. I've seen it 100 times where finance says, this is the software because it's the one that I want, and they make the numbers. The statistics don't lie, but liars use statistics, right? I should have a good statistic for this, but I don't. The general point here is that if you don't have your strategy set at the top, you open yourself up to those opportunities for my section is more important than yours, and a little bit more of an unwieldy nature of your selection. And then you start with folks that disagree on those types of things, and they start making decisions that aren't compatible or in some cases directly contradictory to where it is the company wants to head in the future.
Okay, so based on what you said, you recommend involving the broader user group in the evaluation?
Yes, I'd recommend involving as many layers of the organization as you can. You start at the top, of course, with the executives, but you also have to set up a governance structure that enables you to not just select the software, but implement it in a way that supports that strategy. So when you have a clear vision from the top, then you have a core team that supports it. Very often you have a core team of anywhere, 3 to 5 if you're small, 6 to 8 if you're a larger, medium-sized company, and then possibly even larger than that if you're a very large organization. But that core team becomes your ear to the ground on where things are headed, what are the decisions that should be made, and they're enabled to make those decisions. And if they come to a crossroads where the decision is difficult to make, they then know to bring in that executive steering committee for additional guidance.